So the first card you have for your past is the Two of Pentacles. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of changes, and I think you had a big change that happened to you, and you had to really adjust to all of that. It was very difficult. I'm getting this feeling of having to get used to a whole new normal, if that makes sense. I think there are some big changes that happened to you quite suddenly, and I think, your feelings were going up and down with all the changes, and that's understandable. I think a door might have closed, and obviously it didn't feel good for you to have this door closed on you, so then you're forced to make this big change. And I think you're in this place where you kind of left one situation and you're in this kind of temporary situation, and you knew that you couldn't quite settle where you were. You had to kind of move on from there. So it was kind of this halfway place, and you had to kind of adjust to that. But you knew you couldn't adjust properly because you knew you had to be somewhere else later on. So it's this very unsettling feeling. There's a lot of unsurety, a lot of having to adjust, but then kind of knowing that you'd have to readjust again later on. I hope that makes sense. I'm also seeing some communication here. Not a lot, but a little bit of communication. I think this might have been coming from someone who you were really hoping to hear from at one time. I think a long time ago you would have really have loved to have heard from this person. But I think now that you're hearing from them, you weren't as enthusiastic about this. It was like, I think one of the reasons why you weren't as enthusiastic was that, you just had all these other things on your mind. There was a lot on your mind, a lot of stress on your mind. And also, I think, the communication, it was a tiny amount of communication. And, I'm just seeing these little text messages and not many of them. And I think the content was little as well, didn't have a lot of substance. I think it just felt like they weren't putting a lot of effort in. And, I just think you were a bit underwhelmed by the whole thing, and by the way they were communicating. So there are a lot of reasons why by the time this person came back to you, you're just like, firstly, I don't like the way you're communicating. It's not great. And you're not putting any effort in. And, I've got all these other things on my mind anyway, and I've kind of moved on from that. So that's the kind of thing I'm getting around that. So the next card you have for your past is the Emperor. Yeah, I think this person who was trying to message you, I think they were someone you were involved with, maybe in a relationship or some kind of romantic connection. I keep on getting this feeling that things really change. Your feelings toward them really change, because I think once you were so happy to have any kind of communication from them. Oh, they're finally talking to me. I'm so happy. That's how you would have felt once. But now your life had just changed so much that, your concerns and your thoughts were just way bigger than anything that you had with this person. I think when you were still missing them and wanting them, they were the biggest thing in the world to you. They were huge to you. But now what was happening in your life was just kind of eclipsing that whole thing. So, the Emperor is all about structure, and I think at this time you were trying to get as much structure in your life as you possibly could. And, because this was just a really difficult time. There was a lot of upheaval, and you were trying to get that kind of, structure and that kind of, strong foundations under you again, and all of that kind of thing again. And I think when this person contacted you, they represented the opposite of structure to you. They're kind of all over the place. And I think, when they contacted you again, I think that made you really think about what this relationship was actually about. And I think this tiny bit of communication might have been highlighting that for you. It's like they felt as if they were happy to just throw you a few little bits and that you'd be fine with that. And it wasn't enough. It was not enough. And you'd moved past that anyway. So it just really wasn't, it just was not what you wanted at all. So the last card you have your past is the Five of Wands. Yeah, I think this is why they were contacting you. I think their life really descended into chaos, actually, or it had at this time, and because that's what this card is about. It's the mess card. It's chaos. I don't know if you used to help this person out financially, or if you helped them out every now and again or something. Maybe they even lived with you once and you were in a position where you were the more financially responsible one. It might have been that. I'm seeing some kind of situation like that. And I think before you came into their life, they were a bit of a mess anyway, not just financially, but in a lot of different areas. And you were a refuge to them. That's what you were. You're a refuge. So, I think they might have been testing the waters a little bit just by sending these little messages just to see, what you'd say and if you'd open up to them. And I don't think your answers were what they wanted to hear, actually. For one, you're preoccupied with real problems, and I just don't think you wanted to go back down that road of, feeling responsible for them again, And I think also you're a bit suspicious. I think you're a bit suspicious of them, and I can see why you were. I really can. I'm getting my instincts are really kind of telling me that there is probably something to be suspicious about. That's what I'm seeing. Right, so the first card you have for your present is the 8 of Wands. Yeah, okay, so if that's all making sense to you about that communication, expect that to start speeding up a bit. I think they were put off by your lack of interest, and then after you kind of weren't really responding or whatever you're doing, or, you're responding a little bit or not properly or whatever, or you weren't happy, I think when they realised that, I think they might have decided just to back off a bit, but now I think they're going to kind of start to ramp that up again. They changed their mind. They decided that they're going to have another go. So, I'm actually getting the feeling, this is why you're a bit suspicious, I think, because I think they might have broken up with someone recently, or they might be on the verge of breaking up with someone now. They've been through a lot of problems, and I think they've probably gone back to an old phase in their life, if that makes sense. They've kind of gotten back to not quite the crazy chaos that it used to be, but they've gotten quite almost back to that. It feels like that. So, I don't want to tell you what to do, but I think if you are feeling a bit suspicious, which is what I'm seeing here, I think you're absolutely right to feel like that. Definitely follow your instincts. Don't make yourself into a rebound if they are kind of breaking up with someone and they're kind of coming around you to see if they can come back again or whatever. And don't let this person try to talk you around if you decide that you just don't want to talk to them. If you look at this card, these ones are shooting toward a target, but they're flying right over this home. Now, there's a little house that's just on the left-hand side, right on the bottom left-hand corner. It's very tiny. You can just see it. So there's a house here, there's a home, and these ones are just flying right over the home. Now, homes can represent stable relationships, a home together, security, all of that kind of thing. And, the ones are missing the mark. They're missing the home. So this is telling you that your instincts are right. They're not hitting the mark. They're not the right person for you. That's what I'm seeing in that card. That's what I'm seeing. So, sorry about that noise. That's the other phone. Sorry about that. So the next card you have for your present is the Page of Pentacles. Yeah, I think this is about you concentrating on you, which is fantastic to see. I think you're building yourself up again. I think you had a lot of upheavals, which is what I was seeing in the Two of Pentacles. And I think you took a big financial hit when this all happened, when this big change happened. You might have to start at the bottom again. The pages are students. Obviously, they start at the bottom and they have to learn and they work their way up. And you know, if you look at this page, he's aspiring to grow his money. He's looking at this coin. It's almost as if he's in awe of this coin. He's aspiring to that. He wants it. And you know, he's working his way up to getting the money again. So he has a lot of work in front of him, but he's going to get there, definitely. And you'll get there as well. You'll recover again. You'll recover financially. That's what I'm seeing in that card. You might have to think about doing something completely different from what you used to, and it might feel as if you know, you're going backwards to start with, but it won't last for long. You know, you'll get back on your feet again quite quickly, I think. And I'm seeing a message coming to you in this as well, and this might be about an opportunity. I think this might be some kind of side thing, a business, a little tiny business. I don't know if you know anyone who runs something like that. It's very, very small. And I think there might be an offer coming in from someone who runs a very small business. And it's going to start off as a kind of a sideline for you. So you're going to have some other kind of job or business or something, and this little thing is going to be a sideline. And that's what it's going to be in the beginning. It's not going to be very lucrative at all for you in the beginning. It's going to be very tiny money-wise. But if this does come into you, if this message comes in with this opportunity, definitely don't say no to this, because I think it's going to be really successful down the road. I'm seeing a lot of success for this down the road in the future. You know, there might even be a partnership or something like that attached to this. So if this resonates with you, say yes to this opportunity, even if it's a little thing that you just spend a few hours on every week until it builds up. It's going to build up into something a lot bigger for you. That's what I'm seeing. So the next card you have your present is the Nine of Pentacles. So yeah, this money slump's definitely going to change for you. I'm seeing that here as well with all these pentacles everywhere. And yeah, I think this is telling me that it's similar to what I was seeing in the Two of Pentacles, having to adjust, and that you're at a place where you knew you weren't in a permanent place and you're going to have to move on to someone else. This card's showing me that, you know, to get to a better financial position, you might have to move physically, actually, to a new place, maybe. Because if you look at this card, there are a few things behind this woman just on the horizon. You know, there are two trees, and they can represent the tree of life and the tree of knowledge. And when you see these two trees together like that, it usually means there's a decision you're going to have to make. And right on the right hand side of one of those trees, the one on the right, there's a home. So a decision might have to be made about moving home or moving away from home or something to get to the position of where this woman is. You know, she's far away from her home. She's in the front and the home's right at the back. So she's had to move to get to where she is, to her financial position. So I think that's what this card's telling you. You might have to either move house, or you might have to move to a job that's further away, or you might have to move somewhere else to kind of get to this better financial position. That's what I'm seeing. So the first card you have your future is the King of Pentacles. So this is really, really fantastic. I didn't mean for this to turn into a money reading, but it did. And it is what it is. You know, these things turn into whatever they turn into. Sometimes they're more love, sometimes they're more money, sometimes they're more career, sometimes they're mixed all over the place. Whatever turns out, whatever I see is what I say. So this has turned into a money reading, really. And money's looking fantastic for you. That's what I'm seeing here. You can see the timeline on this reading. It progresses from the struggle in the Two of Pentacles to the Page of Pentacles, where he's aspiring, he's working out what he's going to do. Then it progresses to the Nine of Pentacles, and now it's going to the King. So I've actually never seen this happen before, ever, in a reading, ever. This fantastic sequence, this progression. So, you know, if you have lost money, which is what I'm seeing might have happened here in the Two of Pentacles, you're going to get it back, and you're going to get more, a lot more, a lot more. So definitely follow your instincts And again, if someone you know has a small business or a product launch or something like that, something that's small, please say yes to that. So yeah, that looks amazing money-wise. It really does for you. The next card you have for your future is the Moon. Okay, so, right, okay, I hate to say this, but if you're going to keep in contact with this person in the Two of Pentacles, this person who wants to kind of talk to you and whatever, just be careful. I think there's a lot that they might be hiding from you, and I think they can be a little bit of a storyteller as well sometimes. So just be careful. Just be careful of what they have to tell you, and also just be careful of telling them any of your plans, you know, about your money or your business or anything like that. I don't want to make you feel paranoid, and I know I'm accused of that sometimes, but I have to point out what I see. I have to protect people from things if I see them. So just be careful of falling out, or falling back, I should say, into a position where you're helping them like you used to financially again. You know, of course, there's nothing wrong with helping people, but if you're helping someone on the basis of a story or something that isn't true, obviously that's not right to be doing that. So be careful around that. You know, especially when things start to improve for you, because that's when you're going to be feeling just a little bit more relaxed. You know, you're like, oh, I've got my money back. I'm feeling a bit more relaxed. I don't have to worry so much. I'm feeling happy. I'm a bit generous. That's the time that you're going to have to be a little bit more aware of this person, because I think you're going to sense this. So be very, very careful. That's what I'm seeing in that card. So the last card you have in your future is the Five of Cups. So yeah, obviously this is relating to what I'm seeing in the Moon card. And I don't know if you can see, you can't see it all on the camera. So I'm going to lift it up so you can see. So, okay, so I think they're probably going to want to keep on communicating with you. I think they're going to keep on wanting your help. And I think they're going to feel a bit rejected when you say no. So this is what this is showing me. So the first thing it's showing me is that you're probably going to say no to them. The other thing is that, you know, they're still not going to want to lose that connection between you. They're going to want to keep that bridge opened with that bridge in this card. The other thing is they have all the resources. They have more than enough resources to be able to help themselves. You've had to get yourself out of this bad situation all by yourself, and they can do the same for themselves. Look at the man on this card. He's upset over these spilt cups in the front of him, but he still has some behind him. He's just not looking at them. He's not seeing them. So, you know, that might be why I'm seeing these stories coming from them. You know, they might have these kind of resources they're not telling you about, or it might be that they're just not able to see the opportunities that are around them. But they're able to help themselves. That's what I'm seeing. They're able to help themselves. They've just got to use their initiative, and you've done that. You've done it. You know you can do that. So you know they can do it too, and they can. So Scorpio, I hope this resonated, but as you know, general readings can't always resonate with everyone. But, you know, again, if you like this reading, please like, subscribe, leave a comment if that's what you'd like to do. And thank you so much for watching.